Hey, it's Bill Russell. I'm here in my yellow hat. I wore it at Vive and Hims to signify our partnership with Alex's Lemonade Stand Foundation and the search for cures and to combat childhood cancer. I'm just blown away by the generosity of our community. With the help of our partners, SureTest, Rackspace, CTG, and some of you giving individually, we were able to raise close to $40,000 at those two events. It is just exceptional. And I would like to thank all of you who have joined us in this cause. If you would like to be a part of it as well, go ahead and hit our page, thisweekhealth.com. You can go to the top blue banner that is on our homepage and click on that to give today. Thank you again for being a part of this effort and this cause. Today in Health IT, I'm just going to do some headlines and some comments, and who knows, maybe there will be something in the headlines about Change Healthcare. We'll see. My name is Bill Russell. I'm a former CIO for a 16-hospital system and creator of This Week Health, a set of channels and events dedicated to transform healthcare one connection at a time. We want to thank our show sponsors who are investing in developing the next generation of health leaders: SureTest, Artisight, Enterprise Health, Parlance, Certify Health, Notable, and ServiceNow. Check them out at thisweekhealth.com/today. If you are hearing this and you are with a partner and you're wondering, how do we get heard through all the noise at the HIMSS conference, you should partner with us on Captain's Campaign for Cures. We essentially drive traffic to your booth and a whole bunch of other things around social media, improving the people who participate in the program by 3,000%. So we could do all that stuff, all while putting all the money we receive towards childhood cancer and Alex's Lemonade Stand. So you can be a part of that. We actually don't keep any of the money that's associated with this program, and we would love for you to be a part of it. If you want to be a part of it, contact me today because it's coming up quick. Bill at thisweekhealth.com. All right, one last thing. I'm going to get you to mentor if it kills me. Share this podcast with a friend or colleague. Use it as foundation for daily or weekly discussions on the topics that are relevant to you and the industry. They can subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. All right, let's talk through the headlines. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 headlines from Change Healthcare. The big one of the day, well, big one, they're all big. Hackers received $22 million payout from Change Healthcare, and that's a big haul. Bitcoin, I believe. That's a big haul for them. So that is a successful attack, which means we can expect more attacks. They will identify the supply chain that serves the healthcare organizations, and they will attack that. Know your supply chains, your data supply chains, how it feeds your workflow and where it goes. That's going to be important, and that $22 million ensures that there will be more attacks on healthcare, especially upstream. So look at your business associates and see what that means for you. Let's see, Change Healthcare cyber attack outage could persist for weeks. That is truth, and I have already talked to a couple that are looking for alternatives to Change and potentially swapping out. There's no guarantee that they're going to be coming up in a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks. That data might be beyond repair. Who knows? Maybe the ransomware code that they're giving them is going to unlock it all and we'll be good to go. Who knows? But that is neither here nor there. Contingencies are important, and we should understand who the alternatives are, how they integrate with our existing systems. And I'm sure many of you are working on that already. Probably tired of hearing the word change. Let's see, cyber attack on United Health still impacting prescription access. These are threats to life, and there are stories coming out now around how people are unable to get their prescription meds and how children are unable to get their prescription meds. This is a CBS News story, and I think it's out of Chicago. But watch, that is heartbreaking and difficult. You have people who have essentially medications that are too pricey for them to pay out of pocket, and they require the insurance in order to get the medication, and they can't get the medication without the insurance, and the insurance can't be validated without Change. That's bad. The American Hospital Association is slamming United Health Group and Change Healthcare. Change Healthcare offers a funding program prescribing workaround after cybersecurity attacks. And then there's, I don't see it here, but there's another article that we put up on our site which talked about how it is woefully inadequate. It's essentially a program, and this physician mapped it out. They said essentially they're going to give me $50 for a $50,000 problem. It's almost that kind of ratio. They're like, this is not going to cut it. And so the impact is going to be far ranging and challenging from an IT perspective for us. Let's make sure this doesn't happen again. So let's do our business impact analysis. That's what I talked about yesterday on the show. Let's identify all the supply chain of data and information that feeds our systems, and let's identify our core systems and make sure that we can bring them back in the event of a ransomware attack. So, and I think the other interesting headline here, actually there's two more. One is Dell says on-prem is the future of AI. It's interesting. Clearly they have a motive for saying that because they sell on-prem AI is why they say that. But regardless of if they're doing it for that reason or not, it caused me to think, is that true? Will we have AI systems on-prem? And I think we will. I think there's going to be use cases where we have on-prem AI. And so I think that's going to be worth looking at or understanding how to integrate that into your architecture. I'm trying to think of the use cases. I'll play around with it a little bit more and I'll ask some questions of the various partners that are out there and try to figure that out. But it was an interesting premise and I decided to put that up on the site as well. And then 10 ways to drive change in healthcare. Sachin Jain is talking about 10 methods to drive change in healthcare. And he goes through these. They're pretty good. Research and publication is one. The problem is a lot of that research and publication never gets read, and the stuff that does could be flawed. So that's one way to institute change in healthcare. The other is financial incentives. We know that is a powerful motivator within healthcare, but sometimes it's a negative motivator. It motivates towards the wrong incentives. Social movements is another one. You have movements that happen, such as, I think he cites Michelle Obama and the Move Now, or to fight childhood obesity, Move Now. That doesn't sound right, but it's close to that. It's Get Moving or something to that effect. And talks about social movements and how some are effective, some are not. Device and pharma innovations sometimes are out of the reach of common people. Leadership and culture is a strong driver and probably the most proven of the drivers, but he talks about the lack of courage of many leaders today who are just holding on to their jobs and not doing what's in the best interest of their institutions or their communities. Really, kudos to him for saying it. I'm not sure it'll be received, but kudos to him for saying it. Corporate mergers is another way that we drive change in healthcare. That has had mixed results at best. New roles, creating new roles and those kind of things. Politics is another way we look at instituting change in healthcare, and that has had mixed results at best as well. Site of care changes is another way we are looking to drive change. And I like the site of care changes, but again, some of these trump it, right? So you have financial incentives and some other things, which when people are looking at site of care, they're going, well, I don't know if we're going to make as much money and it's going to cost us more to deliver and all those things. Site of care changes, while I think could be relatively impactful, is slow to happen. And then education is the 10th way. Hey, this article is worth reading. Sachin Jain maps out these 10 ways. And the reality is it's not going to be one of them. We're not all of a sudden going to have a political leader who's going to lead us into the healthcare promised land, and we're not going to have somebody who's in charge of HHS or somebody who's in charge of our health system that's going to lead us to the promised land. It's probably a combination of those things that's going to lead to the change that we need. Make that change, be the change that you're going to be. A little Michael Jackson to end the show. So that's all. That's just a run through the headlines and some of the things that I was thinking as I chose those stories that were submitted by our contributors. If you want to be a contributor, real simple, thisweekhealth.com/news, and become a contributor, and you will get the magic phone number that you can text stories to that comes into the feed and then gets approved to go on our site. And we are trying to curate only the stories that have relevance to health IT professionals so we can eliminate the noise and get to the signal. That's all for today. Don't forget, share this podcast with a friend or colleague. We want to thank our channel sponsors who are investing in our mission to develop the next generation of health leaders. SureTest, Artisite, Enterprise Health, Parlance, Certify Health, Notable, and ServiceNow. Check them out at thisweekhealth.com/today. Thanks for listening. That's all for now.